Here.
Tom Oaken, please.
Here.
Sue and I'm here. We have a quorum.
Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Minutes of the last meeting.
The only thing I found, Sue, it's not Brad Bowman, it was Todd Bowman. So, right church, wrong pew. Yeah, it was Todd sitting here with us, not Brad, his brother.
Okay.
So,
And then I had a question too, and I talked with Happy about this a while ago, that whenever we're, it says to take the Audubon Lake out of the survey. Well, the lake itself, what is the pool, is where they took dirt for the whole levee. And there's probably very little clay like we need in
Left
that area.
in that
But the
area.
borrow site was, and that's about 20, 25 acres. The borrow site was 50 acres. And that's perpetual borrow site. So, and we talked about that. We'll get a chance later on, that after the survey's done, make sure we got the original, the full 50 acres, that, because that what's filling in there, I think is gonna be a silty loam. Won't be no, what they call plastic soil.
No
where
plastic
it
clay.
binds and adheres
and
and seals.
I'm thinking they went as far as they could go. They went to sandy soil, and that was, it's played out.
Yeah, and now they're getting loam
But
fill.
we still gotta get through that to get to the,
Well,
possibly.
the other field will have the same, should have the same layers, basically.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, now that's where the slough, they went down the slough, the old slough that come through where the city dump was.
Right behind it,
Yeah,
way
that was
back behind
one,
it.
and then they found some sand on the banks, and that's where they made two pools down there with a gap in it. So then they got some more deep up here. Well, that hole up here should be the same type of fill, because when that river was that way, that's where the clay would tend to deposit. And they probably borrowed maybe 80%, well, there'd be several feet of silty loam on top of the clay. So we want to make sure we don't have just a puddle. We just
Okay.
want the field, some of the
Are
field.
we gonna discuss any more of that during the meeting later on, or?
Yeah, that'll be
Now,
later.
I don't know,
No.
that's old business,
No,
right?
I understood now, when I just made a note here, how many acres, and that's where I see, as long as we get our 50 acres, I think we're good.
Now, when that 50 acres is played out, if we would ever need it, then I see no problem with
Well,
them having it.
Any levee district,
Yeah, but
a lot of levee
that's gonna
districts
be-
don't even have that. They just have to buy it from the farmer or wherever they find the right clay, or they import it sometimes.
Okay.
But I don't see that as a problem. And if you stop and think, what they took out there, that was for the whole levee, 3.5 miles. And it's 4 feet deep, 3 feet on one side and 5 feet thick on the other. We're just gonna be, hopefully, I mean, it won't blow the whole levee, it might wash out. So we'll be using teaspoons full compared to what they already taken out. But we wanna have what we need. If a big storm comes up and it washes 1.5 miles of levee several feet into it, we need the clay, whatever it is. But it won't be nothing the volume of filling.
All I can say is that we're not gonna let that happen, Vern.
Well, Mother Nature decided that.
Yeah. Let's hope it don't happen. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so I think I'm cool with that. All right, anything else on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Well, second it?
All in favor, motion made and seconded, any further discussion?
One more, one more thing. You wasn't here to defend yourself, so you had told Sue, and I hope you're okay with it. And you do it as long as you feel fit, and then we'll deal with it after that, but,
Well, I'll take it a meeting at a time at this point.
okay. But you weren't here to defend yourself, and we took care of it.
Well,
And we ain't quite ready for you to hang it up yet.
well, I ain't going to New York, I know that.
Yeah,
I'll be around,
okay, that's good.
I have closed session minutes
as
from,
long as I can be around.
Exactly.
I have closed session minutes from October
Okay,
and November.
wait, did I have a motion going on this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and she made the motion and I seconded.
Okay.
Say aye.
Other than that one little comment.
What, we approving the minutes? We were approving the minutes of the
Yes.
last meeting. Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, what we
Now
got?
we have closed session minutes from both October and November.
Okay.
I forgot to hand October's out last month.
44, disaster 4451 was the
We're supposed to discuss it.
2019?
Don't talk about it.
Can't
It's closed
can't discuss it
session.
in open session.
Oh, okay.
Read them.
Oh, okay.
Read them and/or if you don't want to approve them, then we'll have to go into closed session at the next meeting to go through them.
Okay.
Yeah, the one was just a little contract for the dirt from Bowman's, right?
Can't talk about it.
Open. Sorry. We're talking about minutes.
Okay. Okay, what we do, gotta,
We just have to approve both of them.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
okay.
If nobody has any
No, I'm
questions
fine
with
with it.
them.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
Okay. Oh, I'm
Closed session
second.
minutes, okay. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Treasurer's report, Sue, we got some bills, I guess, huh?
We got lots of bills.
Pretty many of them.
Tom turned in some of his time, and so did Norm, and then we got Hush Blackwell, which,
Hush Blackwell, we had them for a few different things here, so that got up there pretty far, didn't it?
yeah, I wrote that down. It was like altogether 17,000 something. And that does include like $3,750 for lobbying fees if we agree to that.
Yeah, that's the one thing we talked about. He called me months ago and said what they was going to do. And that there were several levee districts, I think he had 8 or 10, that are all having the same problem we got. They're wanting to not to pay this, not to pay that, not to pay that. And he says they're lobbying to get that corrected, and as long as we divide the fees like we're talking here, I think it'd be a win for us, because that's the only chance, we can't argue with them. Not like they can. And once, if there's a group of us together doing that, then they're more apt to get it than anything, and it'll be a bang the gavel, and you got it, and it's all over with, and it's a reasonable cost. And a big benefit to us for getting reimbursed for that. It's a big, big benefit. Okay, so do we need a motion to participate with David on this?
For the lobbying?
Do we need it?
Yes, yeah, you'll need it.
Yeah, I would think we do. Okay. I guess I'll just make a motion. I can do that, can I?
Yeah, it's part of your bills.
Yeah, I think,
Part of the treasurer's report is that, yeah.
Can Norm see that?
yeah.
I better check. I want my hand slapped.
I'll just let you run it yourself.
And, anyway, I think we need a motion to approve participating in this with David Human's firm, or David Human, and try and get our funds for this, which we basically did maybe that when we first contacted him, did we not? And it answered to this letter. But this is a little something different. This might be ongoing.
This was first brought up last year.
Yeah.
We had some hesitancy and didn't sign up with it.
Yeah.
So I think he's had a year now to kind of review it and explain it to your satisfaction, that is something that is appropriate for this, for the levy district to approve and sign
Okay.
up for. It'll be more of
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve this, having him, what's the right words? Participate on with the group on FEMA,
for some lobbying efforts.
yeah, for the lobbying, for FEMA. Okay.
What's our other choice? So aren't we?
Well, yeah,
would this
the other
sneak
choice is
into
do it ourselves. Well,
Or that, or.
I'm
or
not
just
capable of writing
Throw the
that.
towel in.
Yeah.
I don't.
Or
I'm
just
not
figure we
throwing
ain't
the
gonna
towel
get a
in.
dang penny for
I think-
all that electric.
I think we need to, I'm on your side, I think we need
Yeah.
to pursue it.
Well, that's
We're
what
done too much invested, and
Yes, we are.
That's right.
we have to, that's the only way we would even have a chance of getting any of it,
Right. And we're better off as a group than just individuals.
as individual.
Much better.
Yep.
Okay.
So I
All in
say-
favor? We got a motion on the floor?
Yeah. Did you make the motion?
I made a
Yeah.
motion.
I second it.
Motion on the floor and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Sue, is that what we owe them right now?
No. The lobbying fee is $3,750 total. I think he just put that in there to show what they pay.
Oh, okay, all right. I see that all them upgrades with the LED lights and everything's paying off.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember that was, we used to have every month $600-700 bill.
Yeah, that was.
For nothing.
Yeah.
For lights,
And now we're down to
Yeah.
$295, so,
it's helping.
yeah.
Yeah, that's high. For what we,
Yeah,
I mean, in
yeah,
terms
it's-
And they're all
It's
LED
just
lights
that-
too.
of a few lights on.
They come on at night and they go off at daylight,
Yeah.
and that's it. I mean,
Well, it used to be the yard lights were just about free or nothing, $5 a month or something. Now look at it,
But isn't that,
$200-300.
aren't we billed as commercial property?
yes, we are
so
building.
that's-
Well, yeah. Does electric
not
cost
residential.
any more, that much more?
We can let Norm move in over there, we call it residential.
We can put a cot in there.
I'm good.
It's air conditioned and got a good heater in it, Norm. And you got your own electric privy outside.
Well, and we do have the AC running a little bit during the summer
Yeah,
and the heat during the
yeah, we do
the
that.
winter. So I mean,
And that's all.
300
And that's all electric.
That's about, yeah.
Yeah, so that ain't bad, but we're in a floating month now. It's not real cold, not real hot, so it don't run.
What is that?
Very heavy.
Western Surge.
But it went from $700 to
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it all is helping out.
and probably 2/3 of
On,
it.
my little bill there, I took pictures, Vern. If they mean anything, you'll notice them right away where they're at.
Yep.
And after last month's cleanup,
Yeah.
and after
Yeah.
Dave Bean got finished, I cleaned all the scraps and leveled all the dirt back up and got rid of all the mud. It was pretty muddy when he did it with that big machine.
Yeah. Right.
And I knocked all the weeds down and got all the brush piles are completely gone.
We got to keep our eyes open for an opportunity pretty soon here to clean that rest of that silt out of that intake too. You know, that mud, and we need to get, I think
No,
we need,
we cleaned that all the way down to the concrete,
okay,
but,
against the grates?
yeah,
I think,
that was down all the way to the concrete.
okay. I wasn't down there last week.
Yeah, no, after the water went back in, all them little saplings and, not saplings, but the chips. You can't, until you open the gate.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had the ballarts all the way up, all the way to the concrete, scraped the
Yeah.
concrete all the way
Yeah.
out.
and is the grids cleaned out, and they not choke with leaves? That's what I'm saying. We get a rain now with the leaves just falling. The first rain, it'll coat them
I
them
was
leaves.
just down, I spent all day down there Tuesday, and we got a little debris between the ballast and the grates,
Uh-huh.
but there's no leaves.
No, I just cleaned
Yeah,
all that out.
there's no leaves.
Last
Okay.
week, that's what my bill is.
And,
Direct
well,
box.
I'll give the rest of it when I do the report about the
Okay.
inspection, but
All right,
we're good.
we're good,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, yeah, I know exactly where you're at here, I know what you did.
Yeah, well, there's, on the south end of the Marina Bridge, down, where the farmers pile all the rock
Yeah.
that fill under the bridge, we had an area that we got rode up every year on.
Yeah,
But there were saplings in there that big around, and they're gone.
I go, okay.
I eliminated, I dug out what I could, and the big ones I had to just cut off.
Uh-huh. Okay, good.
I
Well,
need to
yeah.
get some, and it's burnt up.
Yeah,
Do you want me to keep these on?
No, you can have them, or, it doesn't make any difference, we don't need them. And I think where the brush piles
I
were,
recognize all of it.
I know you did. There's a lot of effort in all that to
Oh,
get
yeah, I know.
them nasty brush piles to burn like that.
Uh-huh.
You don't need that one, do you, Sue?
No, you gave me the type of copy I'm good.
that's my problem, yeah. Okay,
You're good with those. I make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
motion on the floor,
I second.
second by, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, ayes have it. Okay. That includes all these, Okay, anything else, Sue? Okay. Old business? New business? Public participation. You got something?
Norm's got something I think he wants to tell us. I don't know what that would go under, but is that old business or new business?
Well, it's
Or public participation?
Well, it's public.
Okay.
See, I'm not a director, so I'm public. Even though I'm superintendent, it still falls under public participation.
Okay.
So, and it doesn't really matter which it falls under, other than, because we have an annual levee inspection every year. And then once every 5 years, we have what we just had, a very thorough inspection. Everybody comes out, all the different departments, and they go through everything. And I want to say there was at least 12 people out there that day. And they went through everything. I even took 3 individuals down in the lower structure of the pump station. They wanted to inspect that. And everything is very clean down there. In fact, they remarked that it was very clean down there. The channels were clear all the way through. I didn't see no siltation going through.
Oh, even where we walked down through there?
Yes.
And all that mud's gone?
It was all concrete all the way through.
Well, it's spread out about that thick all the way through.
Yeah, and before we started, I pointed out what I hadn't gotten to, like that grate down on that lower by the flat valve. Told them just haven't had time. It's sitting right there. It's ready to go. We just haven't had time yet. They asked about any upgrades we did, and I just flat out told them what all upgrades we did with that multi-directional channel we put in, the upgrades with culverts, the 2 clean-out platforms by the intake.
Yeah.
They loved it all. They literally love our levee. It's one of the best kept levees they've ever seen, and they like that. So, and then they asked me about any upcoming projects that I'm planning on doing out there, and I said, well, before that I answered, they asked me about that one permit we got about the crown widening. I said, as far as if I was understanding it right, we have up to 5 years to complete that. They're in front of the pump station, that crown widening.
The crane pad.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, yeah, that we had 5 years to complete that. So I said, if the money's available, we're going to do that right away. If not, we're going to put it off until we have a little bit more money.
Yeah.
I said, then they brought up the Megger tests on the pumps. We have to get a new Megger test done on each of the pumps. Otherwise, the next time they inspect, we'll fail.
Okay.
They have to have a new one every so often. So
Is
we
that
have to have,
5-year interval too?
that is on a,
I don't remember running it. I know there's been a time or so we ran them.
Yeah.
We closed the gates and accumulated water so we could run the pump, but they would never come down here at night. They don't want to do that.
oh, no. And when they asked me if I had multiple conversations on the phone with them before the actual date came, and they asked me about turning the pumps on, and I said, well, if there's water, we'll turn them on. If not, no. Unless you want to give me a guarantee check for $300,000, $400,000. And they said, well, we'll just see whether there's enough water then. So the day came, and there wasn't enough water. I didn't close the gates days before to accumulate water, because every time we close the gates and we accumulate water, we get silt in. So I opted not to do that, and we had pumped this year, and so I showed them our records of where we pumped. They were satisfied with that, and I guaranteed them the pumps work.
Yeah.
And I said, I mentioned about the repairs that we did at the pump station concerning the lightning strike. where we blew some circuits and stuff, which I did talk to Bruce a week ago. And he's got the parts. He's just going to try and find the time to get down there and get the new parts installed. They did ask me upcoming projects, and I said, well, because they brought up the Megger test, and number 3 was making like number 1 did before we had it repaired.
Yeah.
I said, if we got the money, that's my plans for this year, getting that pulled and gone through. That way and then number 2, all it needs is servicing. New oils put in it, and then we're 100% back to where we should be as far as the pumps go. And I said, as far as new projects, I think right now we're sitting pretty good, other than cutting the brush out of the channels. And that's the only other thing, that the crown widening and the cutting the brush out of the channels, and getting that number 3 pump pulled and serviced.
And rocking the levee.
And rocking the levee, yes.
The ramps.
Yeah, we talked about that too. I said we haven't bothered grading anything right now. I know I've got a couple of areas that I got to address with some erosion on the ramps, but I said everybody's busy right now. But we've got the money sitting there to re-rock everything. Oh, and I did tell them that we were going to raise that center road. They changed the name. What's
some of that.
Division.
Stormy Crawford Way.
Yeah, Stormy Crawford Way. I said we're going to raise that all to one level, and now they was fine with that.
Yeah.
So. And now, so that was we got a very good report. It'll be 3-4 months before we get the actual report.
Well, then you'll get the report.
Yeah, we still got written up for the same little stuff like we always get written
Did
up.
we get that telephone pole?
I didn't mention it, and I seen them looking at it. I split between 2 teams. When I first got there, I was with the initial team, and we went over a bunch of paperwork and answered a bunch of questions. Then they wanted me to go out with the levee team, but they wanted to inspect the pump station at the same. The other team wanted to do the pump station. I said, well, you all know what you're looking at out there on the levee, and I already know what you're going to be looking at. So let me deal with the pump station here, because I run that.
Yeah.
And so I dealt with that team first, and then in the afternoon, I was with the levee team. And
What day were they down?
pardon me?
I didn't know they was down. What day were they down?
That was Tuesday.
Just
Yeah,
last Tuesday?
Last Tuesday,
I don't think I got a message on it.
yeah. I know I didn't call you. I seen you and I told you.
Huh?
I went over for a while.
You did? Okay, good.
Norm had it well under control.
Well,
As always. But they changed things.
I always like to see what they look at and see what they,
Yeah.
because some of them just come out of, as green as can be,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
out of the books, and they don't,
Oh, and that Pizzo well, they're at the north end by the north gates, the one that always spews water out of it. They told me to put a riser on it, low riser
okay.
on it, and then fill up around it.
So it can drain across the road
Well,
like that?
no, they said a lot of times with what's happening there, because they never did get back with me after the 19 flood on that particular issue, or that inspection after the 19 flood. And they kept writing us up because of that puddle of water there. So I asked them about it, and I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, well, just hold off on it. And they never did get back with me, so we talked about it this time. They told me that a lot of times that's common with them, that's close to that head pressure. So they said sometimes they'll put a short riser pipe on it,
Okay.
and then that sometimes eliminates it. If it doesn't, then we'll relook at it.
Well, the riser on them pipes, we had, the riser on that pipe, a short one won't do it unless it's just floods that much higher
Yeah.
than the pipe.
Yeah.
So that will equal the percent of the, however that up, that goes
Oh, yeah.
up. However the river goes up, this goes up.
Yeah.
So a short riser,
Yeah.
it'll still leak. And to get rid of the puddle, all we need is about 3 inches of gravel right through
Oh,
there, and the puddle's it'll run right
Oh,
across
I
the road,
agree.
and there ain't room for a puddle. It's just a scoop of
Yeah,
gravel.
when they told me to put a short riser on it,
Yeah, we need
I'm
to
gonna
throw a
put
scoop of gravel
oil
on it.
around it. And
We do that on
Hey, okay.
on the tractor, we'll fill that in with
Hey,
rock right
get
there.
a couple scoops from down there in that
Right
rock.
laying there, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, you can accumulate it right there
Right
too.
there.
That pile of rock there.
And I finally got an answer from one of them, because she specializes in that particular area, where we keep getting written up for that crack in that concrete there at the south closure. So all that is some type of mastic caulk where the seams are in that concrete. And so I got to chip all that out, that mastic caulk out, and re-caulk it. And then we won't get written up for that anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So I finally got an answer on that.
Is that a 6-inch riser? Do you need 6-inch?
I think that's a 4.
Well, check.
Well, the lid, I mean.
We
yeah.
should have some risers there at the shop, 3-inch and 4-inch.
Yeah,
And
we'll have to look at it.
And that's all you do is
What
put that
size it is.
riser in and put the lid in the riser,
Yeah.
but put the rock above it, around
Yeah.
it at the same time and
Yeah.
fill it. So that'll take care of that.
Okay, with all that,
Do we get written up for any ruts?
They actually eliminated a bunch of them, I think.
Well, one's the drainage just
Yeah.
built there with a grader about
Yeah.
15 years ago, and it's
Yeah.
been there ever since, and they call it a rut.
But they're changing things again. They're not going to be grading us like they had in the past. So the new report coming out will probably be a lot different than how we have customarily been written up. I mean, we still have an exceptional levee. It's just, sometimes you just got to leave a few things just
Yeah.
for them to have something to write about.
Yeah,
make it
That's
real
what-
nice and
yeah.
obvious.
I mean,
well, good. Good. We'll be-
that's what it sometimes amounts
Yeah.
to. But we're not going to be graded the same as we have in the past. And a lot of these things are going to drop off. These little nitpick things that we always say is nitpicking, a lot of them's going to fall off.
Right.
Because,
I got one thing, Amber. I personally want to thank Rick Nagger for such a fine job, keeping it mowed, keeping it looking, it looks like a park down there.
Oh, yeah.
He does
He does a
one
great-
fine job. Very cautious, don't make any ruts. He does a fine job.
Yep.
So,
He
if you're
gets
going to
his-
put something in the paper, I'd like Rick
Yeah.
Nagger to get thanked from the levee board for him doing such a good job for
Yep,
us.
yep. He gets that hay off there, bing, bing.
And
Don't make no bare spot or nothing. He gets the hay
It
off.
just always
next
looks
day.
good. He mows it at the right time.
I do need to go down there and mark them low spots. Because now they're visible.
Right.
And so that we can get some soil put in there in them low spots.
It takes more,
And I told them about the unfinished berm, toe berm, down there in the center.
yeah.
I told them, we finished it. Because I was looking for the old boils. And I said, you won't find it. I said, the good soil we took out of that directional ditch out there, we put right there and finished that toe
Yeah.
berm that was never finished.
That's right.
And
They like that.
they loved everything we did.
Yep. Oh, good. Well, I think everything's fine shaped down there.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
A couple of things to pass on is we've sent out the farm leases. They're up this year for some of the levee property that's out there. So where Brian Kurtz has his crops on each side of the levee. Earl Valley's got some property, and then Byron Siebert's going to take over for Joe Siebert, and that's property that's down on St. Mary's Road. We're renewing those contracts this year. They won't have an end date, won't be like for 5 years like it's been in the past. It'll just be continuing until somebody says, hey, let's wrap it up. And then the price will stay the same unless the city sends a letter to advise them of a price increase. Brian was hoping to have it locked in for 5 years. Makes it easier for him to judge, and he's kind of, with the changes going on the east side of the levee with the conveyance, that's going to interrupt what he's looking at doing anyway. And on the west side, he's got some wet property that the board agreed to go ahead and price out like it does on the east side where it gets wet. Because some of that area, he went through a USDA to get an elevation and the type of soil and showed me what it looked like. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. So we're going to price it the same as what we do on the east side. But we still got a couple hundred acres that we're working, or a little less than a couple hundred acres that we're working with him. Also, TrailNet. Have you ever dealt with TrailNet? Have you ever?
With what now?
I know.
TrailNet?
I've heard of
A
it.
group called TrailNet out of St. Louis. TrailNet does bike trails, walking paths, that kind of stuff throughout the St. Louis area. So it includes Jefferson County, St. Charles County, St. Louis. They're looking at expanding a bike ride, which is kind of a race and kind of a ride, down in St. Genevieve, and they want to do it on gravel. And one of the gravel spots is across the levee. So they want to start in one area of downtown and then work their way out across the levee, and then onto some other gravel areas as they go down towards, not really taking the Levee District 2 levee area, but some of the gravel roads that are down south of town going towards St. Mary's, and then working their way back. So we'll probably come before you to see if we can get permission for them to do the bike ride on the levee.
Will they provide their own liability?
Yep. Yeah, TrailNet has done this in a number of different cities, and they're familiar with the requirements that we have. So that's one of the big issues. Maintaining, make sure that nothing happens to the levee, none of the bike trails, making sure that we don't get any damage along the way, and if there is, it gets repaired. Making sure the bike riders know what their route is. They've done a few of them, and I've seen them organized in Jefferson County, and they do a good job. So if we can get this going, I think it's kind of a fun thing that there's not a lot of good gravel trails in this area, so this will be maybe a big bonus for St. Genevieve.
Yeah,
So I'll have more probably next month.
okay.
So on going to the farmland issue, like Kurt's, where he farms right there in our low flood area there. So what does that mean for me as far as pumping? Do I have to maintain that now, or I can let that flood to reduce pumping?
He marked off the areas. He and the USDA looked at there's two spots right close to the levee, close to the pump
Yep.
station. Those are the areas that get wet the most or quickest.
Yes.
And so we priced it based on the same thing you would see on the other side. So no, you maintain it just like you did maintain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Because that would reduce 900, like that last time. But $900 we wouldn't have had to spend.
Yeah.
Because it didn't get up any higher than that. We just got that one area. So that helps us. Thank you.
I'm glad Brian
Thank
understands.
him. He was the one that, I think he'd had enough where we'd had those areas get wet
Yeah.
before we had a chance to pump.
Yeah.
So whatever he had planted or whatever fertilizer he put in there just got washed away. So it's
I'm
like,
done.
we'll price it on the same
Just to
on the
let
other side.
you and Norm
That
know,
helps.
and Sue, Twee House unloaded a dozer. They're going to fix the slide on Levee District 2 on the Marina Road where it slid again.
Oh, I know.
And they unloaded a big dozer down on our levee. The guy didn't follow directions. He come across my house and across the levee, went all the way to the end to the Marina Road, unloaded the tractor, and then he couldn't get out. He was bottlenecked with a tractor trailer on the end of the levee, and they made quite a bit of a mess. I confronted one of Bloomsdale's bosses, And it was their dozer. They said he didn't follow direction or orders, but we'll fix it. So they were supposed to do it today or tomorrow. And they were gonna unload a skid steer and clean the road back up, and they had to turn the dozer around in the field, and they're gonna, kind of on the levee. And they said they'll fix it, it'll be fine. So I confronted them, and they'll take care of it. And that was supposed to be done today, but I didn't get over there. Today or tomorrow, they'll take care of it. If not, I'll go over and fix it with my tractor.
Yeah.
It's not that terrible bad.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you before you had it come apart.
I would have had it come apart.
Yeah, I just seen it yesterday, and I called the guy. Or Sunday morning, I seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Anything else we got? Okay. Right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion on the floor in second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Well, thank